Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patron, Jack H. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. I know some were eager to see the weekly Tesla China data after last week of 3,000, and this week it jumped back up to 11,130. Compared to the same week in Q1, that number was 6,200. Thus, quarter over quarter, Tesla China is now down 5.6%. Week 7 of quarter 2 last year was 13,900. So now year over year, Tesla China is down 24.3%, but as I've been saying, the main number that I'm watching here is year to date, and that number is down 6.1%. And there's still plenty of time for Tesla to recover from quarter 1, where it had all of the downtime, switching over to the new Model Y. So as Elon said in one of his interviews, there really is nothing to worry about. As we talked about last week, this 3,000 reading was likely either a short-term supply limitation or a choice to export more vehicles. The breakdown for this week: 5,100 Model 3, 6,000 Model Y. I do want to clarify what Elon said about nothing to worry about with regard to Tesla's demand. The expectation is that Tesla will sell about 1.7 million cars this year. The listed production capacity for Tesla is 2.35 million vehicles as of Q1. This means, roughly speaking, Tesla is using about 72% of its factory capacity. So could this number be better? Yes, absolutely. But is it a problem? That is where the debate happens, because everybody defines problem differently. Example: if you mean problem in the sense that Tesla could sell more cars if more demand was there, then sure, it's a problem. But if you mean problem in that Tesla is doomed and sales are cratering and profits are going to dry up and free cash flow is going to flip negative, then no, it's not that type of problem. As I'm sure many of you know, oftentimes that type of nuance gets lost online. So could Tesla's demand be better? Sure, but is it worth worrying about if you're invested for autonomy, Optimus, and energy? In my opinion, no. One thing to keep an eye on in the Chinese market will be Xiaomi launching the YU7 that should be a direct competitor to the Model Y. The YU7 is set to be launched on Thursday this week, May 22nd. And somehow for now, when it comes to pricing and specs and variants, the details are very sparse. And for whatever it's worth, the SU7, the Model 3 competitor that was selling incredibly well for the past year, is now facing some scrutiny. There was a fatal accident involving an SU7 last month, and there's been some complaints when it comes to the SU7 Ultra and the hood design and how they marketed it. They said this crisis not only exposes the credibility of the Xiaomi SU7, but also the distortion of some values in the current NEV industry. And Xiaomi's CEO said the past month has been the most difficult period for him since he founded the electronics maker a decade ago. There's actually more to the story, as Xiaomi just said there were 10,000 fake accounts spreading lies about its EVs. Just know for now, even Xiaomi is dealing with a bit of brand damage, if you will. Despite all of that, it'll be interesting to see if the launch of the YU7 has any impact on Model Y sales over the next few weeks. Elon spoke at the Qatar Economic Forum, and all I can say is it was such a disaster for Qatar to have this lady interviewing Elon, in my opinion. From the beginning, the whole thing just felt adversarial, like the interviewer was trying to trap Elon and just being really confrontational with every question. Frankly, there were numerous times where if I was Elon, I would have considered ending the interview because she just was coming off disrespectful. And to have Elon give you 40 minutes of his time and to sit there and behave like that is just ridiculous in my opinion. And he only talked about Tesla for about 5 minutes, but he said Europe is Tesla's weakest sales market, but there's no meaningful sales shortfall. He clarified Tesla sales are down year over year in that market, but he did say that's true of all manufacturers with no exceptions across the region. Oddly enough, Elon actually pointed to the stock market currently valuing Tesla over $1 trillion again as a sign that there's really no problem at Tesla with demand. He said analysts have the best inside information and things are fine, so don't worry about it. Now, I did think that was a bit out of character, as Elon has dismissed Wall Street analysts and short-term stock stock prices many times in the past. But for what it's worth, I do actually agree right now. Even though the stock market can be fickle in the short term, it's pretty clear that big money isn't really worried about Tesla's sales, and it's starting to see what's coming with unsupervised, Optimus, and Energy. We talked about JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and other firms scooping up shares in the shadows last week, and they really wouldn't be doing that if they weren't bullish on the next 12 to 18 months for Tesla. And again, paired with Tesla's lackluster financials and tepid sales data from Q1, it's pretty clear what's going on. Most people are looking past that data to what's coming. It's always nice to hear Elon recommit to being Tesla's CEO for the next 5 years. He basically said that's the plan unless he's dead. Elon said that Judge Kathleen McCormick would not impact Elon's future compensation, and he reiterated that Elon's pay package and all of this chatter really isn't about the money, it's more so about having sufficient voting control, as we've known. Elon just wants to have reasonable control of Tesla because he does not want to get thrown out by activists. And here's what he said about Ms. McCormick.
Not a judge. The activist who is cosplaying a judge in a Halloween costume.
Okay, that's your characterization.
When it comes to all of the drama that happened the past few months, Elon did say that he took it personally, but he did what needed to be done.
And I'm not someone who's ever committed violence, and yet massive violence was committed against my companies. Massive violence was threatened against me. Who are these people? Why would they do that? How wrong can they be? They're on the wrong side of history, and that's an evil thing to do. To go and damage some poor innocent person's car, to threaten to kill me. What's wrong with these people? I've not harmed anyone. So something needs to be done about them, and a number of them are going to prison, and they deserve it. And more will.
You're referring to the attacks on Tesla showrooms, but I think...
Yeah. Firing bullets into showrooms and burning down cars is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Those people will go to prison, and the people that funded them and organized them will also go to prison. Don't worry.
But wouldn't you...
We're coming for you.
Wouldn't you...
That was about it for Tesla. He did say that Starlink might IPO in the future. He didn't really give any indication of a timeline, and he reiterated that it comes with other challenges that he's not excited about. But overall, I thought Elon handled this conversation awesome despite the confrontational interviewer. And to wrap it up, I have to share what Elon said about the Wall Street Journal.
Is there a worse publication on the face of the earth than the Wall Street Journal? I wouldn't use that to line up my cage for paragraphs. That newspaper is the worst newspaper in the world, if there's one newspaper that should be pro-capitalist, it's the one with Wall Street in the name, but it isn't. So I have the very lowest opinion of the Wall Street Journal.
And Elon reiterated on X, confirming, "We're coming for those who organize the violence and death threats against Tesla. Remember this statement." Sometimes I'll just go for an FSD ride and listen to a podcast to test the software. This unfortunate event happened this morning. 13.2.9 had no intention of stopping for this school bus that put the stop sign up, and I had to slam on the brake here. These are the moments we are reminded of why this is still supervised, so be careful out there. And I still have not spotted much of a difference with 13.2.9 in terms of driving behavior, but I have seen a pretty big difference with AG1's next-gen formula that dropped this month. AG1 is the sponsor of this video, and I'm not saying this is in terms of how I feel, but in all of the changes that the team has made. You guys know with that parasite I contracted and what it did to me the past few years, hearing that AG1 upgraded the formula with 5 well-studied probiotic strains was music to my ears. I know most people have no idea what lactobacillus or bifidobacterium are, but I've become intimately familiar with them the past few years. All you need to know for now, in 3 randomized controlled trials, AG1 Next Gen was shown to enrich key probiotic species in the gut, which was measured using whole genome shotgun metagenomic sequencing. In layman's terms, it's the gold standard tool right now. They also found that healthy bacteria began to decrease when AG1 Next Gen was discontinued. And I can say from experience, your gut biome impacts everything: your energy, moods, clarity, hormones, etc. So my advice to you, do everything you can to build yours up and avoid things that destroy it. So if you'd like to check out the upgraded formula and get some free travel packs with a new design, making them a lot easier to pour, and a 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2, you can head to drinkag1.com/electrified linked below, or you can use the QR code on the screen. Cheers. Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, was also at Giga Texas. He took a ride in a Tesla robotaxi and sat down with David Faber from CNBC. My biggest takeaway from this quick conversation was that they're still working on the federal autonomous regulations, so eventually autonomous regulations will no longer be piecemeal state by state. He also said the administration is going to be technology agnostic, meaning whether it's Tesla's camera only or Waymo's LiDAR approach, they just want to look at the data and the safety.
When they retain their data, they don't share it, well then we can't make rules around it, right? And we're not trying to punish them. We're just trying to get a better purview into how the technology works, how safe it is, that then allows us to craft the right set of rules that don't give us that 50-state patchwork. Again, think about driving along the East Coast in all the different small states. It's not functional.
No, I know, but are the states going to go along? Is that a realistic expectation?
The federal government, with one federal standard, will wipe out. Yeah, it'll be our standard.
We're watching.
So if you didn't catch it at the end there, he did say it will be a federal standard, basically regardless of how the states respond. So I'm not sure how they'll carry that out legally, but it sounds like they're pretty confident that's how it's going to play out. Still no update on a time frame when they may be able to get that done. My guess is going to be toward the end of 2026. And then Elon sat down with David Faber. Now, first and foremost, I want to clear something up. Some people out there are saying Tesla already has robotaxis doing testing without drivers, aka nobody in the vehicle. But I'm going to play the clip where they're pulling that from, and I'm interpreting it differently.
We have cars driving 24/7 with drivers in the cars, and we see essentially no interventions. So we want to be very careful with the first introduction of unsupervised full self-driving, meaning that the car's driving around with no one in it. So we're going to
no one behind a driver's.
Well, yes, and sometimes no one in it at all.
Right.
It's going to pick someone up. So the car has to be incredibly safe. So we're just being, we have thousands of cars that are being tested, which is creating some strange situations where we just drive. There's just a bizarre number of Teslas driving past people's houses. They're like, what's going on?
We even saw one last night coming from the airport. Yeah, driving at night alone.
So just,
it looked very lonely.
It's just, they do look a little lonely.
Yeah.
So it's looking good for Austin next month.
Yeah, some estimates have been that you're only going to have 10 to 12 of them on the road initially. I mean, it's going to be a very small amount. Is that correct?
Yeah, for the first week.
First week. How do you see it ramping up?
Well, we'll have to see how well it does, but I think it's prudent for us to start with a small number, confirm that things are going well, and then scale it up proportionate to how well we see it's doing.
Right, and what's going to be a judge of how well it's doing?
I mean, are there any incidents? Are there any interventions? But we want to deliberately take it slow. I mean, we could start with 1,000 or 10,000 on day one, but I don't think that would be prudent. So we'll start with probably 10 for a week, then increase it to 20, 30, 40. And I think by, say, we'll probably be at 1,000 within a few months. Mm-hmm. And then we'll expand to other cities, so expand to San Francisco, California, Los Angeles,
is that
San Antonio.
A real possibility?
So you heard at the beginning, Elon said they're testing with drivers in the cars. And then when he was talking about not having drivers in the cars, it seemed like he was talking about a future event starting next month. However, on that point, Elon did finally confirm that there will be no safety driver in the car for these robotaxis in Austin next month. Elon said again, Tesla's talking to a number of major automakers about licensing FSD. Tesla's open to it. The more they demonstrate the capability, the more these other companies will want to license, and Tesla is happy to help. For unsupervised, Tesla will only deploy to parts of Austin that are the safest, so it will be geofenced. But again, we've known that for months. I mean, releasing in one city by its very nature is geofencing the technology. Elon said it's not going to take certain intersections unless it's confident it can handle it. So at least at the start, Tesla's FSD might be avoiding certain intersections. Elon did confirm that Tesla employees will remotely operate the fleet if need be. They'll be continuously monitoring, and Tesla's going to be extremely paranoid about the fleet. Again, as they should. They want to roll this out prudently. Elon said again, FSD still can't train on local Chinese roads, and they have supervised FSD approved in China, but each new version has to be approved individually, and Tesla is currently battling against other car companies in China that are trying to stop Tesla from releasing unsupervised. Elon said he does not follow the BYD EV race. He doesn't think about competitors at all. He's just focused on making the perfect product. And as we've known for some time, Elon said the future of Tesla comes down to autonomy and Optimus, and other than that, he just confirmed future cities for unsupervised: San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Antonio.
Would you ever consider merging XAI into Tesla?
Well, I guess anything's possible, but it would be difficult to speculate about something. Tesla's a publicly traded stock, so
it is. I would think to get a majority of the minority vote or whatever you might need might be not easy.
It's not out of the question, but that would have to be something that the Tesla shareholders would want to vote for. It's not currently there are no plans to do so.
Right.
It's not out of the question, but obviously would require Tesla shareholder support for that. A large number of cars. We have millions of cars that will be able to operate autonomously, and I should say that. It's a combination of a Tesla-owned fleet and also enabling Tesla owners to be able to add or subtract their car to the fleet, yes, so that existing Tesla owners will be able to earn money by adding their car to the fleet for autonomous use. And I think it may be possible for Tesla owners to make more in allowing the car to be added to
used, which you discussed,
the self-driving fleet, that then they cost them in the lease.
Right.
And that's why I'd say consider it sort of a business model that's similar to some combination of Airbnb and Uber. Just like Airbnb, you can rent out your spare bedroom or your house if you're not using it, and make money on it. And that's what we expect Tesla customers to be able to do. Yeah, I don't think we're missing anything. Tesla has all the ingredients necessary to offer a vast self-driving fleet overnight.
Yeah,
I think humanoid robots will be the biggest product ever. The demand will be insatiable. There's certain threshold breakthroughs that we think we can achieve, where if Optimus can watch videos, YouTube videos or how-to videos or whatever, and based on that video, just like a human can, learn how to do that thing, then you really have task extensibility that is dramatic, because then it can learn anything very quickly. So I think we'll get there in the next.
We're not there yet, though.
We're not there yet.
You're relying on a significant uptick in terms of
that's why I'm calling it a very significant threshold. Would be
understood.
The ability to learn from watching a video.
Right.
But at the point
as opposed to watching a human, right? Or having a human sort of train it right now with a task.
I mean. Right now, we're training Optimus to do like primitive tasks where a human in a kind of what's called a mocap suit is and sort of cameras on the head is moving in the way that the robot would move to, say, pick up an object or open a door, or the basic tasks, throw a ball, dance. I think that's needed to sort of bootstrap the intelligence so you can have the basic functions. Then where I think it gets very interesting and very much like humans is that you want the robot to self-play. There are some advances needed, but I don't think these are insurmountable. I think we can I think we can solve these things in the next few years.
So there you have it. Tesla does not need to buy Uber. Shocker. Tesla has everything it needs to run and manage a fleet and have its own Uber Airbnb setup by itself. Tesla is not planning to merge or invest in XAI right now, but the door is open and a vote would be required. The way I see it, hopefully Tesla can figure out Elon's pay dating back to 2018 and going forward another 5 to 10 years. And then once that huge hurdle is settled, then the board could in theory shift focus to Tesla acquiring a meaningful stake in XAI. If not something even bigger. And we won't dive into what XAI is doing, but it really is wild. Colossus 2, which is separate from the 200,000 GPU cluster, will be 1 million next-gen GPUs. It's a gigawatt system, and Elon thinks it'll be done in 6 to 9 months, which really is bananas if you follow that space. The estimated cost is expected to be over $25 billion. And as I always say, it'll be a great learning for Cortex 2 at Tesla. And if you missed it, Colossus 2 has already received a shipment of over 160 Tesla Megapacks for the project, which is worth over $160 million. So Tesla might not have a stake in XAI like many of us would want right now, but that does not mean Tesla's not benefiting significantly from what's happening at XAI in more ways than one. And once Grok rolls out in our Tesla vehicles, that will be another huge value add. Then on Optimus, Elon said demand would be insatiable, and Tesla's confident in the next few years they'll find a way to have Optimus learn by itself, perhaps even from YouTube videos to the point where they would be self-taught. Elon did say it would take some advancements from here, but there's no fundamental reason why that can't happen. So Elon's back at Tesla for less than a month, and he's now all over the place talking about Tesla in interviews and on X, and now the stage is set. We know Tesla's robotaxi rollout is going to be the most scrutinized event in recent memory. If a robotaxi so much as rolls a stop sign, it's likely to become national news. And this is exactly why Tesla has to be paranoid and why taking the slow approach is the right move. As Elon and the Tesla team say, it'll be slowly at first and then all at once. I'm personally expecting that all at once moment to be 2026. LG has confirmed they'll begin mass production of their 4680 batteries starting in the third quarter this year. Their production is expected to expand in response to Tesla's supply request. LG told its partners it would ramp up the 4680 battery around June or July and that the volume would increase significantly.
But we've seen a major rebound in demand at this point. I feel comfortable.
You
with
have
it.
seen a major rebound in demand. You really believe you have seen that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
so Elon is saying there's been a meaningful rebound in demand. We'll see if that plays out in the numbers over the next few quarters. Then on the other hand, we have LG saying that due to Tesla's temporary stagnation in demand, LG's mass production of these 4680s has been somewhat delayed. So could this be LG just playing the blame game, pointing the finger at Tesla? Sure, we just don't know for sure. But this 4680 ramp up will be a significant increase in production, and the industry is interpreting LG's recent ramp-up order as a recent supply request from Tesla. Finally, LG said we're currently producing 4680 batteries on a pilot line scale, and the goal is to ramp up in the third quarter. If the ramp up is achieved, it'll be produced according to the specs requested by the customer. Again, it's largely expected that the customer is Tesla. I really wish we would get an analyst question asking about where 4680s will go outside of the Cybertruck, because for now it's really all just speculation. Will they be used in the Semi? Will they be used in the Roadster? Will there be an LFP cell that could be used in a Megapack? I posed these questions because as far as we know, Tesla's own 4680 production is enough to cover the needs for the Cybertruck right now. So why would Tesla need these extra cells from LG? And yes, the obvious conclusion would be that maybe Tesla wants to use 4680s in the more affordable models or in the Cybercab. But again, those packs are likely to use LFP technology, and that really hasn't been confirmed yet for 4680 cells. So for now, we'll just wait and see. This was quite encouraging. Tesla's country director, Tom Drew, says an expansion of driverless features for Tesla is high on Elon's list of priorities. That is Elon's push. We have a global engineering team that are working across markets around a lot of FSD, actively working across all of our markets to roll it out. Most importantly, Tom Drew said there is no regulatory barrier to the technology hitting Australian roads, only local calibration and finessing of the service. There's currently no blockers in Australia to releasing the self-driving supervised as we have in North America. It's something our business is working on releasing. I don't have a timeline currently, but it's certainly very exciting to be able to bring to a market that does not have a regulatory blocker. Now, last week we talked about how Australia is working on autonomous legislation that's expected in 2026, but clearly Tesla's FSD supervised does not need to wait for that regulation and can launch in Australia whenever Tesla thinks the technology is ready, so that could happen as soon as the next few months. Tesla's now offering 0% financing in many countries across Europe. At select Tesla locations, they'll be celebrating Memorial Day, and some folks are being invited to RSVP to enjoy music, giveaways, and a chance to go on an extended demo drive. Honda just came out and said it was cutting back on EV investment and will instead focus on hybrids. Their electrification investments will drop by 3 trillion yen by 2030, which is about $20 billion. But now the company does not believe it will reach its 2030 target of 30% EV sales. At the same time, Honda announced plans to develop a next-gen ADAS system, which should be ready for market launch in 2027. And separately, Honda is teaming up with a local Chinese company, Momenta Global, to develop a next-gen ADAS optimized for road conditions in China. But Honda is now also capitulating to focus more on hybrids, the more profitable vehicle. Waymo said the California Public Utilities Commission has approved their application to operate their fully autonomous ride-hailing service in the South Bay and nearly all of San Jose. However, while this will not change our operations in the near term, we're looking forward to bringing the benefits of Waymo One to more of the Bay Area in the future. In case you missed it, the CEO of Lyft, David Risher, came out and talked about the partnership between Tesla and Lyft, which is really just Tesla offering a discount for Lyft drivers. But then he goes on to say, I know there are a lot of feelings about Tesla and their CEO. So in the middle of this announcement where Tesla has this nice gesture for the Lyft network, David decided to pop that subtle jab in there, which is clearly going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. And in case he wasn't smart enough to figure it out, putting that line in there is not going to appease any of the people that are upset with Elon. It really just makes me even more eager to watch Tesla start its own game of Pac-Man through the ride-hail market. For a while there, Tesla was not taking Cybertruck trade-ins, but that changed over the weekend. So far though, I believe it's only for the Foundation series. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it over the weekend. Luminar had a lot of drama going on as the CEO, Austin Russell, resigned. This resignation though followed an ethics inquiry that so far we really haven't gotten much insight into what actually took place. But we've known Luminar has been facing financial challenges and a significant cash burn, and then it had the whole Mark Rober FSD video and all of that drama. That clearly was not authentic for Rober to conduct that air quote test like he did. And then just a few short weeks later, Mark Rober's good buddy, Austin Russell, is magically out of Luminar. We've known that whole situation reeked of foul play, and this news is really just confirmation of that. For now though, we still don't have specifics on the nature of that ethics inquiry. Tesla stock closed the day at $343.82, up 0.51%, while the NDX was down 0.37%. The volume was 11% above the average. Don't forget, check out AG1's next gen formula linked below and grab those freebies if you're interested. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did. You can find me on X linked below. And a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.